Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and it's time to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. The Liverpool ace is one of the best right backs on the planet, but questions have always been asked about whether or not he could play in another position. Gareth Southgate gave it a go last week, with Trent playing in centre midfield against Andorra. Sadly, it didn't go very well. But I'm here to give Liverpool's number 66 another chance. Using the Football Manager editor, Trent Alexander-Arnold is no longer a right back. He is an out and out centre midfielder. He can play bang in the middle of the park or as a defensive midfielder, but just definitely not in defence. Let's dive into this simulation and see how Trent the midfielder gets on at Anfield. Okay, here we are at the start of the simulation. Here is Liverpool's projected lineup, and as you can see, the right back is no longer Trent Alexander-Arnold. Instead, it is Fabinho. Trent is still in the best, strongest starting 11. There he is alongside Jordan Henderson in the middle of the park. Here's the man himself, as you can see, defensive midfielder or a centre midfielder, but he cannot play at right back, can't even play at left back, can't play at right wing back. Trent is solely a centre midfielder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate a year into the future. Let's see how Trent gets on in the middle of the park. Will he play as much? Will he play as well? Will he get as many assists? Will he score as many goals? Let's find out what happens 1 year into the future. Right, here we are a year into the future, and Liverpool are Premier League champions. They have came top with 85 points, 3 more than Manchester City. But what kind of a role has Trent Alexander-Arnold played? He's not in the top scorers, which isn't a surprise. He isn't top of the average ratings or the assists or the Player of the Match awards. But let's see how on earth he has got on at Anfield as a centre midfielder. So this was their final starting 11 in the season, and Trent, unsurprisingly, was playing in centre midfield alongside Jordan Henderson. Let's check the selection info out. He played 46 starts and 7 appearances off the bench for Liverpool's number 66. And based on that average rating, he's actually been one of Liverpool's, well, I was going to say he's been one of Liverpool's best players, but actually he hasn't, and that's kind of a testament to how good Liverpool have been. Fabinho better than him, Salah better than him, Naby Keita better than him, Luis Felipe better than him, a new signing, Firmino, Mane and Virgil van Dijk, all better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. But his average rating of 7.41 is still incredible. The third best centre midfielder at the club, behind Naby Keita and behind Fabinho. But I mean, Fabinho has probably been playing right back. At the minute, it's Santiago Arias who ended the season playing right back, but he only started 10 games, which makes us believe that maybe it's been Fabinho. Let's have a look at the schedule before we look at Trent's performances. Start of the season, there's Joe Gomez playing at right back for this game here. Joe Gomez again. Fabinho. Joe Gomez again. It looks like it's between those two who's been playing right back. There's James Milner. He had a stinker in that game. Liverpool did the double actually. They won the FA Cup, winning 2-1 with Trent Alexander-Arnold in centre midfield, scoring the winner in the 70th minute, with Liverpool going down to 10 men. It looks like he scored a fair few goals actually, which was pretty impressive. I mean, he scores every now and then, but he's more about the assists. But on Football Manager, he doesn't normally get as many assists, but just because of the way the game is. He doesn't get the ridiculous numbers he was getting a couple of years ago for Liverpool. From centre midfield, 34 appearances in the Premier League, 29 of which were starts, 4 goals and 7 assists, and an average rating of 7.5. That is absolutely exceptional. What about for England? He's reached 20 caps now, still only scored once. Is he starting for England? Let's have a little look at the national team. He is. He's starting as a holding midfielder with Mason Mount and Phil Foden ahead of him. He's been playing just as much as Harry Kane and Chilwell, Harry Maguire. Seemingly, Trent Alexander-Arnold is an England regular, and he's doing it in the middle of the park. He's getting in ahead of Declan Rice, which is quite a big deal. He's getting in ahead of Jordan Henderson, another big deal. It says a lot about how good Trent has been as a centre midfielder so far. At right back, taking his place, Reece James, one of England's best players, so no one's really missing out at right back. I mean, Liverpool, it looks like their right backs have struggled, with Fabinho, Joe Gomez and James Milner all chopping and changing, that none of them have really thrived there. But it doesn't matter, because Liverpool have still done a league and cup double, and Trent himself has had a great season in the middle of the park. I'm going to simulate another couple of years into the future. Let's see how Trent's doing after 3 years as a centre midfielder. Right, here we are another couple of years into the future. Liverpool are no longer Premier League champions. Last season they came second, and this season in 2023 they've came second again. Trent is still at Anfield and he is now the vice captain. Still centre midfielder, got a contract until 2027, 215 grand a week. England caps up to 47, he's even started scoring more goals for England, he's up to 6. How's his average ratings doing? Christ, they're doing bloody well. In the previous season, 31 Premier League appearances, an average rating of 7.83. The next season, not as good, 7.56, but still fantastic. Has he had injuries this season perhaps? Only played 24 times in the Premier League. Let's have a little look. It looks like he's had a few injuries along the way. That's probably the main reason why Trent hasn't played as much in the most recent season. But that 21-22 campaign, absolutely excellent once again. 7 Player of the Match awards, 8 assists, 4 goals. Fantastic. Trent is really pulling the strings in the middle of the park for Liverpool. At right back, they've got themselves another big name, Ricardo Pereira, playing at right back. There's been a change of system as well at Liverpool. They're now playing a 4-2-3-1 system. Has that left Trent on the bench? Let's have a little look at the schedule, see what they were using towards the end of the season. We'll see if they've won any other competitions as well. League Cup, they won that. They won the final 2-0 against Watford, a game where Trent played holding midfield, 7.8, a very, very solid rating. FA Cup, they didn't defend that crown, beaten by Manchester City 3-2. As for the Champions League, beaten in the semi-finals by Paris Saint-Germain. One name I have noticed there at Liverpool is Eduardo Camavinga, which might be forcing Trent down the pecking order. At the end of the season, on the final day, he didn't get off the bench against Sheffield United. He did start the previous game against Reading, holding midfield, 7.3. No, sorry, he was centre midfield. I'm forgetting we're playing 4-2-3-1 now. But it looks like Trent has got a lot of competition in the middle of the park. Obviously, Fabinho's still there. Eduardo Camavinga, the aforementioned. Thiago's actually on the transfer list, which is quite a big deal. They've slimed Florentino Luis, a great player on FM. He struggled here, but that's fine. Naby Keita's still there. Curtis Jones is coming through. A lot of players wanting to play in the middle of the park. And with the formation changing to a 4-2-3-1, there's less places. I mean, Trent before, if it was a 4-3-3, could play in front of the defence or as one of the 2 centre midfielders. Now they're playing a 4-2-3-1. There's less spaces for Trent to get into. But let's have a little look at his milestones, see if we've won any more trophies. They won the League Cup in 2023, as we've just said. They won the FA Cup in 2022. But no more Champions League glory. And no glory for England either. How's he getting on for England? Let's have a little look at his average ratings for his country. He's not actually listed as one of the top players. That's quite surprising. Calvin Phillips, Jack Grealish and Declan Rice all ahead of him as centre midfield options. However, in a 4-2-3-1 system, he is in the starting 11, and he is one of the best players. He's the 4th best behind Harry Maguire, Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. So for England, things are going pretty well for Trent. As we say, he's just about to hit 50 caps, start to score a few goals, and it looks like from the middle of the park, Trent is having a massive impact. Yes, at right back he is excellent, but on Football Manager, he doesn't quite get as many assists as you would hope. Playing in centre midfield, he is most certainly doing that, but he's yet to actually hit double figures. He did do it in his second season in all competitions, getting 16 assists, which is a great tally. The most recent season, 11 assists in all competitions as well. But can he hit double figures in the Premier League? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to simulate one more batch into the future. I'm going to go 3 years into the future. That'll have given us 6 years of Trent Alexander-Arnold, the centre midfielder. By then he should be solidifying his legacy, winning even more trophies, getting even better average ratings because he's coming in at the peak of his powers in his mid-20s. Let's simulate 3 years into the future. Let's see what happens. Right, here we are 3 years into the future. We're on the 12th of June 2026. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is no longer a Liverpool player. He is now a Galactico, playing for probably the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid. 27 years old, he joined Real Madrid in the summer of 2024, costing a huge £96 million. And he's been brilliant in Spain as well. In his last season at Liverpool, 3 goals, 9 assists, average rating of 7.72. At Real Madrid, he's been excellent as well. The most recent season, he's had his most productive year ever domestically. 7 goals and 11 assists, an average rating of 7.78, not quite his best when he got 7.83 for Liverpool, but it just shows that first year when he got a 7.5, that is the worst season he's had. I mean, that is a worse season. A lot of people would take that as the best season. That's how good Trent has been. Let's have a little look at his milestones, see what's happened. He won a Carabao Cup in 2024 at Real Madrid. He's yet to actually win anything. They haven't won the Spanish First Division and they haven't won the Champions League. Let's see who he's playing with in the middle of the park. He's a starter there alongside Marcos Antonio, Casemiro playing in the holding role. So that's probably given Trent even more freedom to be an attacking player. He's keeping Federico Valverde out of the team and Lewis Cook, which is quite a strange option. Curtis Jones has even joined Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool. I wonder why he's been able to get a transfer, because normally in these simulations you never see Trent moving clubs. Is he a much more attractive prospect as a centre midfielder? Or is he more for Liverpool? Is he more replaceable as a centre midfielder? Liverpool did have another Premier League win in 2025. They've also won the FA Cup, beating Southampton. Let's see who they've got playing centre midfield now. James Ward-Prowse and Harvey Elliott. Two great players. They've gone back to the 4-3-3. Fabinho playing in front of the defence. A man called Amar Sejdovic playing at right back and not playing very well. So for all Trent had a great time in the middle of the park, Liverpool maybe haven't quite replaced Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, which is a little bit of an issue. But I'm really surprised to actually see Trent change clubs. It never happens. He's gone for huge money, £96 million, and he is a Real Madrid player. Obviously he struggled against Andorra the other day playing centre midfield, but this is proof Trent can be an incredible centre midfielder, or at least he can on Football Manager. I mean, that's all we care about really. I mean, who cares about reality? Come on. Right, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.